I am here in the center of Athens in the Monastiraki Church Square, and I thought I would do a second video update. And in this video update, we're going to talk about what's going on in Ukraine, as well as a big update with regards to Imran Khan in Pakistan and the no confidence vote. First, let's talk about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and check out this tweet that was sent by the Chinese foreign minister spokesman. And this tweet kind of sums up how the Chinese view the US and the EU diplomats and their negotiation strategy. Kind of a gun to the head and choose us or else, go on our side or else. More proof that China is 110% behind Russia in this. I wouldn't even say they're behind Russia. I would say the two countries have carefully coordinated their actions and their moves with regards to not only Ukraine, but with regards to de-dollarization and this fair world order, as Lavrov has branded it, a fair world order, which is going up against the globalist world order. And yeah, this tweet is very indicative as to how the Chinese diplomats view their US and EU counterparts. But let's get to some more stories here, and let me walk over to the church so everyone can see. I'll walk around the church that way, walk back in, and I'll go into the side streets of Monastiraki and Laka and this area. So let's see. One of the big news stories that we're getting has to do with the Russian reserves, the foreign currency reserves that were confiscated, frozen, stolen. And a lot of people are asking, why did Russia leave this money outside of Russia? And didn't they know that this was going to get confiscated? Well, from what I understand, Russia really didn't have much of a choice. The reserves, which were being kept in USD or Euro or outside of the country, would have been useless in Russia. In other words, they had to keep an amount of reserves in a foreign currency outside of Russia and in the hands of foreign banks, and there was nothing they could really do. And I think the Russians knew that these reserves were in jeopardy of getting confiscated should the sanctions ramp up. But they game planned that in. It was baked into the cake, I think, and there was nothing they could really do about it. It was what it was. They had to keep some reserves outside of the country, and it was just part of the risk that they had to undertake when they went in with this special military operation. So those reserves, around like 250, 300 billion, it was baked in the cake that they would get confiscated. And a lot of people who say, well, what a stupid move that was, and the Russians should have realized this. It seems like they didn't have much of a choice. That that these reserves were out there, and there was the risk of confiscation, and Russia made its decision. They made the trade-off, and life is about trade-offs. Life is about making decisions, and you have to make certain trade-offs. And the trade-off was, if we're going to go through with this, these reserves are most likely going to get confiscated, and it is what it is. So anyway, there's a lot of talk now and a lot of suggestions, of course, coming from Ukraine, but also coming from various EU officials, for these reserves, these 300 billion in reserves, to get put back into the reconstruction of Ukraine. So this money would be used to rebuild Ukraine after the war. It sounds good. It sounds good, but this is how I look at it. I think that these Ukraine officials and these EU officials are eyeing this 300 billion in reserves, and they're saying this is going to be some good, easy money. Because if you honestly believe that this money will be used to rebuild Ukraine, well, I've got a bridge to sell you. We all know that if they manage to get their hands on this 300 billion, this is a perfect way for them to make easy money, and none of it is going to be put to building Ukraine. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we're going to have a Ukraine after this conflict. I think that the Ukraine that we knew is not going to be the Ukraine that we're going to see. Because take a look at these photos. This is Kherson, and here you can see the flag of Russia being raised in government buildings in Kherson. Now, I've talked about how the Russians have now they've made the ruble the currency in Kherson. They've allowed Russian media to operate in Kherson, and now you have photos emerging of Russian flags in government and administrative buildings in Kherson. Does this look like an area or a region that's going to return to Ukraine? Doesn't look like it at all. At all. I talked about how there's going to be there's rumors that there's going to be a referendum for an independent Kherson, for Kherson to break away from Ukraine and to be its own republic. And these rumors, these fears, were being propagated not by Russia, but by Ukraine officials. And so when you look at these photos, I think it's clear to see that Kherson could be on its way towards being its own independent republic. And so, let's see here. Let me walk down this way. It's hard to concentrate with a lot of people around. But where was I? Yeah, so it doesn't look like the Ukraine that we knew is going to be the Ukraine that we're going to see after this conflict. 300 billion into that country is a sophisticated money laundering operation with all the weapons that are being sent into Poland and are hitting the black market. All of these Ukraine generals and these EU officials who are selling these weapons on the black market and just making bank. If they manage to get the 300 billion in Russian foreign reserves packaged into some sort of reconstruction program, along with other foreign aid that's been pouring into Ukraine. I mean, billions upon billions of foreign aid from the US and the EU. A lot of people are going to become fabulously rich from all of this. Not to mention, you're going to have a lot of black market weapons hitting the streets and just causing all kinds of chaos in Europe, the Middle East, all over the place. So, chaos for the masses, but for the few, you're going to be seeing lots of new billionaires, lots of new millionaires and billionaires coming out of this. But that's going to be the few. The rest of us are going to live with chaos. So let's switch gears and talk about the breaking news: Imran Khan and the no confidence vote that was to be. There was going to be a no confidence vote. Well, it looks like that Imran Khan has made a very, very shrewd political move. And so what has happened? There was going to be a no confidence vote, but the deputy parliament leader decided that this no confidence vote went against the Pakistan Constitution, Article 5 of the Pakistan Constitution. The vote was blocked, and then, in a very shrewd move, Imran Khan petitioned the president of Pakistan, so the prime minister petitioned the president of Pakistan to hold elections because of the no confidence vote being blocked. And sure enough, it looks like he got it. So in 90 days, we're going to be having elections. So what looked like to be a regime change operation appears to have failed. It appears to have failed. And why did they want Khan out? Why was this regime change operation started? Well, to get Pakistan to move on side with the US with regards to sanctioning Russia and siding with the collective West. So it looks like this has failed. This attempt to remove Khan Didn't work. Very, very shrewd political moves. Very shrewd. The deputy prime minister said that this no confidence vote was unconstitutional. It was blocked. Khan quickly moved, along with the president, to call for elections. That went through, and now you're going to have elections in 90 days. Of course, the opposition parties are super pissed off, and they're trying to figure out ways to prevent the new elections. But it looks like Khan has won out. Very, very shrewd maneuvering. You know, Khan got to power. He had a lot of support of the generals. It looks like those generals defected, and not only did the generals turn on him, but it looks like a lot of his party members, a lot of his parliament members turned on him. And Khan said that he has the documents showing that it was the U.S. that was pushing for these defections in order to remove him, because Pakistan had a neutral stance with regards to Russia, Ukraine. And the U.S. was trying to change that neutral stance. It all goes back to the tweet and the image that was sent by the Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson. I think that tweet sums it all up. You're either on our side or else. And that's how the collective West diplomacy works. They put a gun to your head, and you're either going to side with them, or else you're going to get regime changed, or you're going to have a color revolution. So that's what's going on in Pakistan. Big, big news. Very, very clever move from Imran Khan. And he has just bought 90 days. And I would imagine if they have elections, he's probably going to win, or he stands a good chance of winning, because he's positioned himself as a populist, pro-Pakistan leader. And I imagine that's going to resonate with a lot of the population in Pakistan. Anyway, we will see now. Looks like he's bought himself 90 days to solidify his power. We will see. All right, that is the video, guys. And that is this short tour of this small little square in central Athens, the Duran.locals.com. Take care.